Papac has been a solid and steady presence in the Rangers' defence this season. He's back from injury today. Kyle Lafferty was starting to look the part before he was injured. He returns to the starting lineup too. And likewise, Kenny Miller, whose pace could well trouble Aberdeen. He's playing on with a nerve problem near his hamstring. Needs must. Rangers' winning streak, 7 straight victories, came to an end at Easter Road on Wednesday when they could only draw with Hibs. The penultimate weekend of the SPL is bound to get pulses going. Prepare for a few anxiety attacks. There's a title to be won. There are European places to be confirmed. And there is the little matter of the fight for survival. Pedro Mendes. Barry Ferguson on the bench for Rangers then. He hasn't been involved for almost 2 months at club level after his behaviour on Scotland duty. Aluko. Here's Peter Pawlett making his first start for Aberdeen. He's only 18.
Right at it here. Given the chance early on to whip one in from that right-hand side.
Early concern for Rangers as Mulgrew whips it in, but Bugera typically with a firm header away. Kerr up towards Miller. Aluko. Tracked by Edu. And Edu has won it, although Aluko came back for a bit more. Pedro Mendes had to step in. Mendes. Whittaker. Stephen Davis. Whittaker reverting to right back now that Sasa Papac is fit again. Mr. Daly dropping to the bench. Bugera for Kenny Miller, but across came Scott Severin. Miller, Whittaker, Davis, and Kenny Miller! Fantastic challenge by Scott Severin.
I said before the match, a lot of responsibility to lie with Severin. Started already. Great tackle.
Looked like Kenny Miller would get the opportunity to pull the trigger. Scott Severin decided otherwise. Pawlett. Severin, Mulgrew, Foster, Bugera, Boyd, Severin in the way, Vidal. Aberdeen 3 points off Dundee United, 5 points off Hearts, and those two teams play each other later. Jimmy Calderwood not giving up on his European dream yet. Lafferty. Papac. Lafferty wants it back, he's got it back, tracked by Javan Vidal.
It's good poise to play from Lafferty. Starting where he left off against Hibs.
Miller returns it to Papac. Lafferty. Edu! Way wide.
quite a specialist in that department, and he makes up for it in other areas. Thought there might have been a chance that Aberdeen would have come here today and played with 5 in midfield and just left Miller up front in his own, but they have gone with the 4 across the central area, and that does allow them to have a bit more of a high line to pressurise Rangers' back 4.
Miller, Boyd. Foster's header. Edu crashing towards Miller. Whittaker releasing Kenny Miller. And Lafferty looking to pounce. Little touch from Vidal.
This is the space that Miller creates for Rangers into the channels. He's always pulling the back 4 along that line. It's a lovely ball in as well.
Bugera. Foster giving Edu hope. Davis. Lafferty. Rose with Vidal. Bugera. Whittaker. Not hanging around. Lee Mayer met the cross. Severin. Mulgrew. Offside, Tony Aluko.
It's important that Rangers started this game at higher tempo than against Hibs, and they've certainly done that. Already managed to get in behind the Aberdeen defence through Miller's movement.
Stephen Davis, who scored the Old Firm match winner and cleared one off the line as well. Whittaker seeing a fair bit of the ball early on. Away by Severin. Davis. Mendes. Mark Kerr saw it coming. Goal kick.
See already that Whittaker has been given licence just to overlap Davis down that right hand side. There have been games recently when he's played on the left side that just stayed in the back 4, much more defensive minded, but not today.
Papac up towards Miller. Mark Kerr spun away from Mendes. In fact, I don't know why Stuart Dougal pulled that back. Aberdeen were advancing. Thought he had played the advantage initially. Papac, usually reliable. Missed the last 3 games with a knee injury. That's a Papac. Boyd and Lafferty both went for that. The lack of communication. Boyd screaming at Lafferty to communicate better. Aluko. He's dancing, is Aluko. And he battered it straight into touch.
This is what Sonny Aluko gives Aberdeen. He's got the pace to get himself into those areas, and then quick feet around about the box, but poor delivery in the end. He's certainly a player for Rangers to watch at the back.
Bugera, the Rangers fans' player of the year. Miller, Boyd, Kenny Miller again. This is promising, but it sticks with Langfield.
It's only been 10 minutes, but Aberdeen just can't get it right. Down their left-hand side, Miller using that channel really well. And Mulgrew and Foster need to get it together in that department. So far, certainly been a good out for Rangers.
Whittaker sorts out Foster. Kenny Miller looking lively. Give it away to Kurt. Right on cue, not. Papach recovering. Jimmy Calderwood was born less than a mile from Ibrox, but this is the only SPL ground he hasn't won at.
Certainly can't accuse him of not having a go. Likes to play open, attractive football, Jimmy. Certainly starting with the two up front today is optimistic.
Foster. McDonald for Mulgrew. Foster for Kerr. Suspended against Hearts midweek after a red card against his former club Dundee United. Lafferty escaping from Vidal and holding him off for the time being. And Vidal has stumbled. Lafferty's going to go for goal. He gets a corner.
Certainly tenacious play there from Lafferty. Vidal was slack in the beginning. He allowed the Rangers player ahead of him. It opens up for the shot, but Mayer gets his foot in the way.
Pedro Mendes with the corner. Bugera far post. Half-hearted claim that it came off Gary McDonald. Not very likely.
A good start down both sides for Rangers. Lafferty on the left looks to have the pace on Vidal.
The old firm on the same number of points in the SPL. Kenny Miller looking to create an opening, but just couldn't sneak past Lee Mayer. Lafferty, Davis, Boyd lurking.
That was lovely set-up. Lafferty checks inside, great pass. The first time ball, and Boyd can't get on the end of it.
Well, there was a cross in midweek that he might have got on the end of. Chris Boyd, Nacho Novo sent it over at Easter Road. Miller's flick for Aluko. Paulett. Vidal. Bugera. Charging out of defence, man on a mission. Failed mission that time. Rangers throw. Donald, Mendes, now Papach, Edu, warned by the fans of a man on. Miller let it go for Boyd. Whittaker, Davis. Foster. Miller. Gets it back from Gary McDonald, who's continued running towards the box. Edu. Miller. Whittaker. Assisted now by Bulgara. Pedro Mendes. Plenty of room. Intercepted by Severin. Good feet from Kerr.
Talk before the match about Rangers' goal deficit, the possibility of scoring a few in this one, but first is to get the win. It's not going to be easy. Morgan Smith saying in his pre-match interview that it has to be a balance struck, and so far they have tried to ensure that that happens. Don't leave things too open at the back.
Kerr, Foster, Mulgrew, capable of a decent delivery, but that one is straight through to Neil Alexander, who's going to release Kyle Lafferty. Lafferty running at Vidal, skipping past Kerr, Aberdeen inviting him to shoot. Severin in the way yet again. Mulgrew involved. Lafferty.
Lafferty does take him late.
It's a red card. And Aberdeen fuming with Stuart Dougal. But Charlie Mulgrew, the hot-headed moment, is off.
Well, I can't believe that from Lafferty. Both players, they shouldn't be putting their heads there, but Lafferty just goes down. There's no real thrust forward or headbutt movement from Mulgrew.
Well, Lafferty got a yellow card, Charlie Mulgrew got a red. And in the early stages of this game, Jimmy Calderwood's Aberdeen are down to 10 men.
Well, Mulgrew knows, because he put his head there, that's why he's leaving the park, but I think that's just a joke there from Lafferty. It really is.
Mulgrew was stupid, but Lafferty was pretty embarrassing.
Absolutely no need from that man to get another fellow professional sent off, but that's what he's done.
Aberdeen forced to change their plans. Valuco no doubt going out wide. Jimmy Calderwood doesn't have too many options on the bench. Stuart Duff and Chris Maguire, his most experienced players. Maguire, though, still a youngster.
So needless that, because if both players just walk away after they've initially had that exchange, nothing happens. Just a little warning.
Miller, Lafferty, Pedro Mendes. Walter Smith alongside Ian Durant. Chasing it. Free kick has actually gone Vidal's way. a bitter blow for Aberdeen, who need some sort of result here today. They're home to Hibs on the final day of the season. Still hoping to catch Dundee United, their best bet perhaps, or Hearts, for a place in Europe. Peter Paulett. Aluko. Here's Foster. Aluko, he's kept it in. Still going, Sonny Aluko, and Whittaker had to dig it out. Here's Lafferty, who should be rather ashamed of his part in that sending off.
Yeah, and getting plenty of stick from the Aberdeen fans.
Whittaker. Papac. Edu. There's a late one from Paulett and Papac, but Stuart Dougal has allowed Rangers to continue. He's just had a word with the youngster.
McGrew stands there. Lafferty is the one that sends his head that little bit forward, not much in it at all, but then his reaction, for me, is a complete joke. As I said, just to get a fellow professional sent off, it's very, very poor. It means, though, that Aberdeen have to reshuffle, and Aluko will go back into midfield on the left-hand side and leave Miller up front on his own. Now Rangers have to take advantage.
Peter Paulett. He's got a free kick. Well, it spoilt the game a little. Needless red card, really. Vidal should be taken by Alexander. Paulett. Kerr. Severin. Foster. Lafferty. Aluko. Stopped in his tracks by Whittaker, but he's proving a little tricky at times.
Certainly is. Very bright, initially up front, now on the left-hand side.
Whittaker toiling a little. He's taken a knock. McDonald. Aluko. Cut out by Edu. Aberdeen giving it a go with their 10 men. And probably feeling a sense of injustice, even though it was daft of Mulgrew to get involved in the first place. Aluko. Mendes guarding his box.
The whole thing seems to have taken us by surprise as well. Started well initially. At the moment, struggling to get going again.
Davis. Turned away by Vidal for Paulet. Weir. Papac. Weir. Miller. Vidal stuck a foot out. Silverine did a bit more than that. He caught Edu as well, unintentionally. Kerr. Luco finding it rather awkward. The misplaced pass that Foster welcomed.
Touch of frustration now creeping in from the Rangers fans. They want to see their side take this game by the scruff now.
That was a painful one for Papac. He's in some agony.
They'll both go for that one. Papac's trying to clear it. It's because he goes in, Vidal, outstretched, straight legs. Not really watching what he's doing. Anything can happen then.
It does have a bit of history. This is a volatile fixture. In the last 25 years there have been 30 red cards in matches between Rangers and Aberdeen, although that's the first time Aberdeen have had a player sent off against Rangers since 2003, when our old friend Xander Diamond saw red. Severin's header giving Vidal some work. Edu should pounce on that. Lafferty, cheered by the Aberdeen fans. Whittaker. Mendes. Davis. Kenny Miller. Tracked all the way by Gary MacDonald, whose presence was enough, more than enough, for Aberdeen.
What should now be looking for is full-backs to push right forward with only Lee Miller up front. I'm sure the two central defenders can take care of him. If they do push them forward, it means that they can try and hem Aberdeen in a little bit more, because right now they're finding it hard to get in behind.
David Weir. Mayor's clearance.
Well, that's the ball that Aberdeen are looking for. They don't want it to go wide.
Lafferty. Diverted off Foster for a corner. A small band of Aberdeen fans are gathered in the corner where Mendes has gone to. Mendes floats it in, Bergera can't get to it. David Weir seems surprised. Whittaker. Almost dropped for Miller, who cried handball against Lee Mayer. Mendes. Bergera. Disappointing delivery from Bergera. He does fancy himself as a winger now and again. Gary MacDonald. Vidal. Aluko. Kerr, Aluko, McDonald, Foster. Aberdeen are threatening. Whittaker has to be wary. Foster's cross. David Weir picked Peter Paulett to it, and now Stephen Davis can bring it away. Kenny Miller. Miller not quite sure which way to turn. It's Stephen Whittaker. And they might have had a shot then. Papac. Kenny Miller. Bounces off Foster. Davis. Davis. Boyd. And again. Stephen Davis. Oh, and Papac almost turned it in. It's still in. Not sure he knew too much about it. Lafferty tripping Paulett.
Well, it was a nearly near thing there for Papac. Davis with this little shot, and I think Papac goes for that. A little back heel. He's very unlucky.
Whittaker. Kenny Miller. Bugera. Mendes. Lafferty, the villain of the piece as far as the Aberdeen fans are concerned. We have a point. Edu. Fending off Vidal. Papac in there again. Corner this time.
It's nice stuff from Edu. Left wing area. Lanfield just gets a hand to it before the line.
Rangers are cranking it up. They need a goal. Pedro Mendes. He turned his back on it. Aluko offering an outlet. Nobody up there with him yet. But he's skipped away from Papac, and now Lee Miller's getting into the box. So is Paulett. Weir met the cross, and now Davis will give Kenny Miller something to chase. Not much in the way of support for Miller. Mendes. Stopped by Severin. How many times have we said that in this first half? Rangers' frustration increasing as the half goes on. Aberdeen down to 10 men with Charlie Mulgrew sent off after coming face to face with Kyle Lafferty. Portsmouth are almost safe and could be by Monday night, but Sunderland have a bit of work to do. You can see that from 7 o'clock on Setanta Sports 1.
Aberdeen really well organised. Done well to keep it at 0-0, 35 minutes. They've also got a bit of a balance. They've managed to get forward once or twice as well, and Aluko is going to be a massive player for them now to give them that out. The Dons still need something from this game.
Whittaker. Bugera. Vidal, Aluko. Ten minutes to go in this first half. Peter Paulett. It's quick, it's Foster. Alexander guarding his near post, and now quickly throwing it to Stephen Davis. Kenny Miller. Davis chasing that. McDonald went with him though, and Kerr was there too.
He does remain the villain of the piece. Initially a bad challenge, but then to feign injury like that, I think, is a disgrace. He needs to be embarrassed. Of course, Mulgrew, you can't believe it.
It's not exactly made it easier for Rangers playing against the 10 men of Aberdeen. Not much on target yet. Might be now. Mendes. Davis. Whittaker. Luko charging that down. Davis. Cleared by Severin. Sasa Papac has overrun that. Peter Paulet scoops it up. Guerra brushes the youngster aside though. You're not welcome here. Mendes. Weir. Outside of the boot from Mendes. Kenny Miller unable to sneak in. Langfield grabs it.
He remains the real threat, Kenny Miller. That time Foster did well to tuck in and use his pace against him, which will be crucial.
Whittaker. One of his runs. So to his Bergera. And that's brave from Langfield, and he's taken a bad one. He had to go in where it hurt, and it certainly did hurt. He's going to have a word, Stuart Dougal, with his assistant, Graham Chambers. And there is going to be a card. Oh, it's a red card for Majid Bergera. He can't believe it. And in Stuart Dougal's last game as a referee, he's evened things up at Ibrox. Both teams are down to 10 men, and Bergera will be out of the last game.
Absolutely, that was my initial reaction. He's just evening things up. I think he knows he got it all wrong with Lafferty, and now the referee is sending off Bergera. He had a word with his assistant and made the decision. Langfield comes out, Foster tracks Bergera back. Now it's a raised boot. I'll tell you what, that is very, very dangerous. And when you see it, because his boot is raised, and the studs go up, that's why the linesman had a word with the referee. And it's always going to be a dangerous one when you slide in with a goalkeeper, and you should know, if you're doing that, you keep your foot near the ball, you do not raise it up, you don't look like you're putting your studs towards the goalkeeper who's coming out, and he's got his eyes just on the ball.
Well, he's hardly the sort, Majid Bergera, but he's off 5 minutes before half-time. And Stuart Dougal, in his farewell match as a referee, is certainly going out with a bang here at Ibrox. And Bergera will miss the trip to Tannadice next week.
Well, I said my initial reaction was that the referee was evening things up. On hindsight, he has got a point, but whether it could have been a yellow is the argument. It is dangerous play, especially as the goalkeeper's got both hands on the ball at the time. So the referee could argue his case.
And Walter Smith's Rangers, like Jimmy Calderwood's Aberdeen, are one man down. at Ibrox.
Well, the linesman did have his say in that decision. It would have been probably better if he'd had more of a say in the initial one with Lafferty as well.
A rather controversial half at Ibrox. No goals as yet. Guerra, big loss to Rangers, that's for sure. Here's Peter Pawlett. DeLuco, away by Weir.
Certainly a bit more space on the pitch now.
Pawlett. Oh, it's a fine try from the 18-year-old, and it forced Neil Alexander into a smart save.
What a great effort this is. Great first touch as well, but a lovely save on the end of it from Alexander. You wouldn't have seen much of that one. Good play from the midfielder on his left foot. And outstanding from the goalkeeper.
Well, a top corner job at Ibrox on your first start would have been some story for Peter Pawlett. Pawlett himself takes the corner. Edu flicks it away from Severin. Severin ready for a long throw towards Miller. It drops here for Mark Kerr. Bounced off Whittaker. There's a handball shout from Kerr. Whittaker in some agony. And Aberdeen have got a free kick. Everyone is right on edge.
It's not been the best first half as far as football is concerned, but certainly enough points for the guys in the studio to talk about at half-time.
Severin can hit them, of course. Davis charged out the wall, but it went to Gary McDonald. The Rangers felt might have been offside. Doesn't matter now anyway. And the first half is drawing to a close, and the major talking points have surrounded the red cards issued by Stuart Dougal in his last game as a ref. Incidentally, it's only the 5th top-flight match he's refereed this season because of injuries. Lafferty involved in the first red card incident. It's all very fraught at the moment, and there are going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time in this first half. McDonald, Vidal,
Oh no, I think the Rangers fans will again be disappointed in that first half display. They haven't asked Landfield many questions, and Aberdeen have dealt with initially having a man down very well. The Rangers reshuffle means that Whittaker goes to centre half, Davis drops in the right back, and Miller's left up front.
That might change the course for the second half. They do have Christian Daly on the bench, Nacho Novo, and Barry Ferguson. Papac.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt that Walter Smith will change it around at half-time, reorganise a bit. But Jimmy Calderwood might do the same.
Pawlett, who almost opened the scoring. moment he might well have dreamt of ahead of his first start for Aberdeen. McDonald, Miller, Aluko, Miller. Nobody in that area for Aberdeen. He was intending to find Foster on the other side. Papac, Lafferty. Mark Kerr got involved. Mendes for Davis. Turned away by Lee Mayer. Kerr.
A good first half, Mark Kerr in central midfield.
Foster rather.
Organised things well, kept possession, which is vital.
Lafferty. Edu. Kerr. It's one back by Mendes. Closing seconds of the half. Chris Boyd. Langfield smothers. It just wouldn't quite happen for Boyd.
I thought just at that point, if he gets under control, Ramir does well to come across.
Half-time. There's the man of the match so far. Stuart Dougal issuing 2 red cards to Charlie Mulgrew, although Kyle Lafferty really should hang his head as far as that incident is concerned. Graham Chambers didn't offer much advice that time, but he did when Bergera slid in on Langfield and raised his studs, and Bergera walked as well. An immensely controversial first half at Ibrox. 2 red cards, no goals. Well, Rangers are unbeaten in their last 34 games here against Aberdeen, stretching back 18 years. 1991 the last time Aberdeen won on this ground. They haven't taken a point here for 3 years, but they're level at the moment as Rangers start the second half. Both teams down to 10 men and no changes for either side. Lafferty is going to pounce on that. Papac. Edu. Mendes. One steps Gary McDonald. And the longer Rangers go without scoring, the more jittery everyone will become around Ibrox. Rangers on the same points as Celtic, but Celtic 2 goals better off, and they've scored more. Davis. Whittaker. Weir. Boyd. Mendes. Davis. Lee Miller. The teenager Peter Paulett chasing with Papac. No contest. Paulett, though, very nearly found the net towards the end of the first half. Davis for Miller. Miller under pressure from Foster. David Weir. Vidal will beat Lafferty to that.
Just a bit surprised that Rangers haven't made a reshuffle at half-time. Walter Smith is kept with Davis at right back and Whittaker centre half.
Booted away by Richard Foster. Papach for Whittaker. He certainly gets to play in a few positions. Edu. A straight pass, riling the Rangers fans. Whittaker. Forlorn chase for Mendes. Just desperately need to find a way through, find a way to goal, but Aberdeen urgently require a result today as well to keep on the tails of Dundee United and Hearts, 3rd and 4th place. Gives you a crack at UEFA's new Europa League. Boyd, Lafferty, Severin stuck to his task. Aluko. Mark Kerr.
Maybe find the longer this game goes that a bit more pressure on the two managers to change the formation. Maybe go 3 at the back, but at the moment they've kept it as is. Rangers remain with a 4.
Foster proving a pest. Whittaker had to come across. Goal kick. Will Barry Ferguson get to play for Rangers for the first time in almost 2 months? He's warming up with Lee McCulloch and Nacho Novo, who came on to considerable effect at Easter Road, although missed a couple of great chances before he scored.
Right now, from the home side's point of view, they really need a spark again. They got that in the second half against Hibs.
Lima. Papach sending Mendes on his way. Kenny Miller's in the middle. It's going out.
That's a real problem though, isn't it? Mendes up in the left channel, plays the ball across. Rangers desperate for a win today, and only Kenny Miller in the box. He'll not be bothered about that though.
Papach, Mayer, Edu, Boyd. Gary McDonald takes charge. David Weir. Lafferty, Mendes. There was a route available in front of Mendes, but he elected to return it to Lafferty. Lee Mayer booted it away.
Yeah, you could hear by the Rangers fans' reaction, they wanted him to take responsibility, Mendes.
Still doing well in the way of Rangers now. That went down well. Whittaker. Miller. Miller, Mendes, snuffed out by Severin, sent out by Foster. Weir, Whittaker. Edu, Severin turning away from Mendes. Davis. Mendes. Mendes tees up Davis. It's turned away by Mayer. The patch goes to ground.
Jimmy Calderwood's urging his team out of there. Sitting very deep now.
Ibrox rather restless, more than a little uptight. Edu doesn't get a free kick. Paulett going to run into Davis. Davis up towards Boyd. Luko, handed by Edu. Took well to feed Foster. Whittaker won't let him pass. Mendes for Lafferty. It's been diverted into the side netting by Vidal.
The ball up finds Lafferty. Nice touch.
Front corner as Mendes floats it in. Really turned into an OG for Gary McDonald, but it's another corner. Barry Ferguson looking like he will join us soon. Mendes sends in a swirler. And David Weir's header is over and out.
Donald gets an end to that one. Really sure what he's trying to do there.
Nacho Novo will also be coming on with Barry Ferguson, by the look of it. 10 minutes into the second half. Remains goalless, and that's not much good for Rangers. Gary McDonald made the run. Mark Kerr. Luko. Down a little too easily. Papac. Davis. Kenny Miller. Davis. It's all so tense and tentative. Davis with a bit of room. Away by Mayer. Mark Kerr for Aluko. Papac holding Aluko up. Davis. Mendes. Kenny Miller. There is so much space. Miller went to ground, but didn't seem to know quite which option to take. Mark Kerr. Vidal. Gary McDonald furthest forward. Peter Paulet's in the middle. No foul. Papac. Kerr. Edu tenacious. But here's Paulett. He's about to be replaced by Stuart Duff. Miller rising. Whittaker for Edu. Boyd, Miller. Miller, great cross in towards Lafferty. It's come off him. It's a goal kick.
It's a lovely ball in. Teasing ball there. Mayer just does enough again. Put off Lafferty.
Substitution for Aberdeen, replacing number 26, Peter Pollitt, number 19, Chris Maguire.
Young Peter Pollitt, who came close to scoring in the first half, is going to be replaced by Stuart Duff, who did score a winner for Dundee United on this ground 4 years ago.
Pollitt did very well in the match, but took a knock, I think, on his right knee.
And just holding on there, double change for now. Which we'll see Barry Ferguson returning from the wilderness after being suspended and stripped of the captaincy after that incident on international duty. Vidal, Kerr, Foster.
Jimmy Cole irate there. As Aberdeen players, desperate for them to keep the possession, keep giving it away.
Whittaker. Mendes. Davis. Mayer's header. Kenny Miller! Fine save! And Boyd can't turn the rebound in. It's Lee Mayer who brings it away. Close but not close enough for Rangers. With almost an hour played, it's still 0-0. Ferguson and Novo on next break of play. McDonald. Duff. Foster. Luco. Clutched by Alexander. Here's Lafferty. Half an hour left. Just toiling in their quest for a goal. Hence the need for reinforcements from the bench. Whittaker. Still Whittaker. Visibly wide. And there will be a double change now. Barry Ferguson is back. His first game for Rangers for almost 2 months. Injured his calf in a reserve match last month after just a couple of minutes. Pedro Mendes replaced by Ferguson, who is given a fair old welcome on his return. Chris Boyd is going to be replaced by Nacho Novo. Boyd has been quiet today, and he was on Wednesday as well. Nacho Novo came on and helped liven things up for Rangers at Easter Road. Scored a goal, could have easily had a hat-trick.
Novo play right. Ferguson in his normal position, and Miller to the left, and that allows Lafferty up for Rangers now.
Aberdeen are going to bring on another of their youngsters, Michael Payton. Papac. Novo shut off by Severin. Bit of a hopeful shout for a penalty.
Absolutely. There's no chance he's getting that.
Lee Miller turned into David Weir. Rangers seeking inspiration. Barry Ferguson on to try and provide some. So too this man, Nacho Novo, more than capable of nicking a goal when Rangers really need one. Papac harassing Aluko. He's finally held him back, and that's going to be a yellow card for Papac.
Yet again, Aluko, about the only player in the Aberdeen side at the moment that's keeping possession. He's had a good match. Papac gets booked.
Before this kick is taken, there's going to be another change. Lee Miller is going to be replaced by 20-year-old Michael Payton, who we have seen a few times as a sub this season. Scored some goals during a loan spell at Brecon, but he's in the big time now. Is Payton on for Miller?
He's worked hard, Miller. Not really had a sniff. Fresh legs up front.
There is an understandable nervousness around Ibrox. Davis has intercepted that from Foster though. Nacho Novo securing a throw. Who's going to step forward and score for Rangers, if anyone? Davis up against Duff. That will be a corner. Stephen Davis's corner, cleared by Mark Kerr. Papac looked like he was fouled then by Aluko, but it hasn't been given. And Aluko can feed Payton. Vidal. They've just bemused that they didn't get a free kick, but it comes to nothing. Kenny Miller skips away from Mayer. Miller. And a goal from Foster! Rangers are gifted the lead, and that will relieve the immense stress around Ibrox. An own goal from Richard Foster.
Well, if the deadlock was going to be broken, it did look like Miller was going to have the key. It's Foster that puts it in. When you're in that situation, all Miller can do is put it into a good area. He does exactly that. Foster coming back in, going towards his own goal. He's trying to miss the post, gets it all wrong. But it's all down to the cross, the way it comes in. It's an early ball, just looking for an area. Kenny Miller manages to find a way through.
He was waiting to pounce. Foster had to do something, but what he's done is given Rangers an advantage. A goal that was a long time coming. Goal scored amid 50,000 sighs of relief. Edu, Lafferty. David Weir, Papac, now they're buzzing, Miller again, Mayer falling over, he's going to have to scoop that behind for a corner. Nova will go across and take this. Quarter of the game remaining as Novo sends it in. Kenny Miller! Two quick goals!
taken a while for them to get going, but they are now. It's a lovely ball in, and Kenny Miller escapes. Foster, he just gets himself half a yard. It's poor marking from the defender. Kenny Miller, having just helped break the deadlock, adds to it.
And that means the goal difference at the moment is the same between the old firms. Celtic have scored more goals. Aberdeen's stubborn resistance over now. Rangers hungry for more, hungry to have a better goal difference than Celtic. Kenny Miller provided the first. If Foster hadn't put it into his own net, Lafferty surely would have scored. And the second goal, Miller helped it to himself.
And Jimmy Calderwood will be distressed at that one though. Straightforward ball in the box. Striker just peeling off slightly, getting a free header. And that goal should make all the difference to the Rangers' cause. Certainly will settle them down now. They really haven't looked themselves at all in this match. Very, very even it was.
Rangers are hoping the floodgates are going to open. Davis! Novo!
It's all action now. Davis gets a touch initially, and I think he's looking for it again off a Novo, but the striker opts for the difficult efforts.
After an afternoon of high anxiety and pure stress, Rangers calmer, and looking for more goals with 20 minutes left. Two goals in 2 minutes. Lafferty, Novo. What's Papac doing there? Lafferty will keep it in. Ferguson, free kick's going to be given against Barry Ferguson. Walter Smith freshened things up with a couple of changes. The major influence on the goals was Kenny Miller. Duff. Vidal. We saw Celtic midweek go 2-0 up against Dundee United, and then they were panicking when Dundee United got one back. Rangers don't want a similar scenario.
That's what it comes down to now, the next goal. If Aberdeen can get it, they're back in it. That would make Rangers sweat, but if Rangers get it, it's definitely all over and they're going for more.
It was a rather arduous wait for a goal, but it can be like that when there's so much at stake. Payton, put out by Papac. Here's Stuart Duff. Donald. It's loose, and Mark Kerr might have done his hamstring then. Kyle Lafferty bursting away. Kerr suddenly clutched his hamstring, but does seem all right. Foster. McDonald. Tiny tackle by Whittaker. Aberdeen hoping to do something they've only done 3 times in the last 8 years. Score a goal at Ibrox. Kerr. Vidal. Duff. Gary McDonald, he's in the clear, can he score? No, he can't. It bounced off the top of the bar, and a glorious opportunity, utterly wasted.
Such a good run as well, lovely ball played through from Aluko. He has all the time in the world to size this one up. Takes a look, sees Alexander, and then he just loses composure. He goes for power, just skips off the bar.
Celtic go to Easter Road tomorrow. On the final day, Celtic are home to Hearts, Rangers away to Dundee United. And they'll be without Majid Bugera, sent off in the first half, as was Jolly Mulgrew for Aberdeen. Davis. Edu. Ferguson. Michael Payton. David Weir across. Kerr. Quarter of an hour to go. Duff. Got away from Papac, but it's going out for a goal kick. If Rangers clinch a victory today, they can put their feet up and see how Celtic fare at Easter Road against Hibs tomorrow from midday. Novo. Davis. Novo has gone for the return. Edu. Novo takes over. Davis for Edu. Blocked by Foster. Vidal. McDonald, another chance. Payton. Whittaker challenge, but he scored! Aberdeen have got one back through Michael Payton. And it's Rangers' turn now to be nervous, tense and anxious.
I said it. The third goal. Very important. Credit to McDonald again, putting himself in that similar situation. And Payton does well. He tries a little back heel to buy himself a yard. Doesn't work out for him inside. He gets a touch of Whittaker and just an element of room to swing his leg at it. And he beats Alexander with a neat little finish.
Celtic know how Rangers feel. It happened to them against Dundee United. Gordon Strachan said his side were spooked. Rangers have the jitters now as McDonald gives it to Aluko. Foster. Kerr.
Just think what that's done. Rangers 40-50 yards further back the park, sitting deep now.
Good challenge from Papac. Kenny Miller for Nacho Novo. Ferguson, Lafferty. It's a goal that means that Celtic once again have a better goal difference, although just by 1. Payton. He has been given a few opportunities lately, and He has scored a goal at Ibrox. Nice feeling for the youngster. Bad feeling for the Rangers fans and players. Certainly given Aberdeen a lift. Gary McDonald for Stuart Duff. Edu jumped in. Ferguson now for Miller. Too much on it for Lafferty's liking.
Well, the game is so stretched now. Both sides just going for goals.
Aluko. Payton. He's got past Papac. Papac had to turn it away for a corner. The Aberdeen fans in that corner, enjoying it now.
Yeah, again, what a difference a goal makes.
John Fleck is going to be on for the last 10 minutes or so. The majority inside Ibrox, rather worried as Aluko sends his corner in. And Lafferty's clearance only goes to Mark Kerr. Vidal. Out by Whittaker. Back by Severin. Aberdeen are probing. And it's dropped for McDonald. Davis was quickly upon him. Davis again. Here's Lafferty, who we hear is about to be replaced by Fleck. Novo steps inside Kerr. Asking a lot of Kenny Miller with that. Disappointing. John Fleck hasn't been involved in the last 7 games. New sub in the last couple. Yes, Kyle, it's your number coming up. Lafferty involved in the savoury incident that led to, well, him basically getting Charlie Mulgrew sent off.
Yeah, and for this he really needs to take a good long look at himself. Lafferty, not a game for him to remember.
Disgraceful behaviour really from Lafferty. He's been replaced by John Fleck. Rangers, like Celtic the other night, far from comfortable. They were 2-0 up, they've been pegged back to 2-1. It's going to be an uneasy 10 minutes. Aberdeen are going to bring on Chris Maguire, who is certainly sprightly and will put himself about and prove a possible pest.
It's amazing that the Rangers scored those goals. Suddenly they found an extra couple of yards, but since Aberdeen has scored theirs, the Rangers side look a little bit tired.
Davis. Vidal. Here's Duff. Edu.
It's an uneasy situation for Rangers because they know, as it stands, they got the 3 points in the bag. If they go looking for a third goal, they may leave things open at the back, especially with Maguire coming on.
Scott Severin moving away from Nacho Novo. Kenny Miller. Novo. Payton swivelling. Whittaker's challenge, and it came off Payton apparently. It's a Rangers throw. And Jimmy Calderwood will bring on Chris Maguire and take off Javan Vidal.
Substitution for Aberdeen, replacing
Maguire
15 Javan Vidal,
can be lively.
19 Chris Maguire.
He might get a chance.
I just mean that Duffel now go to right back for Aberdeen.
Novo. Miller. Novo. Miller with a dismal cross, stopped by Foster easily. Maguire just on. Edu gets a free kick, although he had the ball anyway. Taking off for Maguire, just on. And spat between McDonald and Weir. Rangers agitated. Papac. Novo! Oh, he's missed some chances this week.
This one's right up there as well. It's a lovely ball then. Good initial movement as well from Nacho Novo as he peels off, but makes a real hash of that one.
Ferguson, Fleck. Offside Novo. Rangers fans shifting uncomfortably in their seats as we head towards the last 5 minutes. That's what it feels like. Rangers still on course for a double. Nobody said it was going to come easy. Payton jostling with Edu. Edu really relishing a run in the side and growing in stature over the weeks. Taking his time, hoisted high by Edu. Maluko felt he might have been manhandled by Ferguson. Not much in it. Davis. Ferguson. Papac. Landfield will have that. And we're both having to keep Maguire quiet. Maluko. Michael Payton, Aberdeen's goal scorer. Mark Kerr may as well have a pop. Hasn't scored for a few years, mind you. Foster for Payton. Really dealing with McDonald too well.
It's good play from Payton on the left-hand side of McDonald. You can see him just at the top of the picture, sneaks in. He loves to get in the box.
As it stands, Rangers will go top of the table, of course, with Celtic and Hibs tomorrow. A 3-point gap that Celtic will be rather eager to make up. They, as it stands, have a better goal difference by just one goal. They have scored more than Rangers if it comes down to that. Who knows, it might do, the way it's going. Novo. It's a corner. So some encouragement for Rangers. They really could do with a third goal to put this issue beyond doubt. Novo picks out Papac. Novo again, time to deliver. It's over the head of David Weir, who was tangling with McDonald. Couple of minutes left of the 90. Tense times for everyone involved. The manager's really going through the emotions. Certainly Aberdeen's goal, not the stuffing out of Rangers a bit. Imagine what a late Aberdeen equaliser would do. Mark Kerr. Sodi Aluko. Foster. Great challenge. Such a Papac, typical of him. He even took his own man Ferguson to try and release Nacho Novo. Ferguson gave him the eyes. Edging towards the 90 minutes. The stress levels went down around Ibrox when Rangers went 2-0 up, and they quickly went back up again when Aberdeen scored.
This is a strange match, really. Took that short burst from Kenny Miller to this point anyway to take 3 points. A few more minutes to go.
Yes, 3 minutes of stoppage time will shortly be confirmed. 3 minutes for Rangers to negotiate. Limer. Severin. Aluko. Rangers know that they simply have to hang on. Novo, onside, could put Fleck through. He does. The 17-year-old's in the box. But Langfield blocks it. Stephen Davies had made up considerable ground to get in there as well. Fleck only had eyes for a goal though. And Langfield stops it again. Ferguson. Still a couple of minutes of stoppage time to go. You rarely get it easy when you're gunning for a title.
Especially when you're not at your best, and Rangers certainly haven't been today. Aberdeen have been resilient, organised. They have been a threat, but as I said, that little spell that Kenny Miller made the difference. Looks to have won it for Rangers.
Foster. McDonald. Maguire. A late Aberdeen equaliser would be a sickening blow for Rangers. Maguire. Tracked by Ferguson. He's hanging in there, is Chris Maguire. Always with his Payton at the near post. But it's gathered by Alexander. And there's another 60 seconds or so for Rangers to get through. And they will be so mightily relieved to get through it.
Fatigue is now setting in. It's been a long, hard season.
It's been pretty painful for Rangers to endure this afternoon. Apart from the brief spell that they went 2-0 up, but it looks like they're almost there. And they will go to Dundee United on the final day. Celtic and Hibs tomorrow, and home to Hearts next weekend. The race for the title in Scotland reaching a fascinating climax. to go to Easter Road and record a victory. Rangers have just about recorded a victory here, although it wasn't without its problems. That's it. Kenny Miller proved to be a huge influence when his cross was turned in by Richard Foster for an own goal, and then Miller scored the second himself. Aberdeen got one back. It was a frantic end in the first half. Stuart Dougal showed red cards to Charlie Mulgrew and to Maciej Figueira. Football took over in the second half. We got some goals, although we had to wait for them, and Aberdeen certainly ensured it would be a rather nervous finale. It finishes at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Aberdeen 1.